The air in West Palm Beach that July afternoon hung heavy with salt and grief, the kind that sticks to your skin like the humidity never quite lets go. Hadley lingered by the grave long after the crowd dispersed, her black pumps sinking into the manicured grass of Hillcrest Memorial Park. At 28, she looked every bit the poised graphic designer she'd become. Freckles dusted across her nose like cinnamon, short auburn hair tousled by the breeze off the intracoastal, and eyes the color of Lake Okeechobee mud after a rain. But today those eyes were red-rimmed, not just from tears for Gran, but from the stranger's voice still echoing in her ear. Elias Crow. The name tasted like old money and older grudges. He'd hung up before she could ask why now, why her. The lesbian granddaughter who'd been tolerated at family gatherings with tight smiles and averted gazes. Gran had been the exception, the matriarch of the Harper dynasty who'd built a real estate empire from swampland into sprawling estates along Ocean Boulevard. "You're my wild card, Hadley," she'd say, pressing a cool hand to her cheek during visits to the family's Palm Beach compound. "The one who sees colors in the cracks." Hadley slipped the phone back into her pocket and straightened, brushing dirt from her skirt. Her uncle Victor Harper was already halfway down the path, arm linked with Aunt Lydia, their laughter cutting through the palms like a bad joke. Victor, with his silver temples and golf pro tan, had always positioned himself as Gran's golden boy, the one who'd expand the legacy into luxury condos and yacht clubs. Elias was right, that dream was dust. She drove her beat-up Jeep Wrangler back to her rented bungalow in West Palm's El Cid neighborhood, the engine rumbling like her thoughts. The call had come mid-funeral, vibrating against her thigh as Victor droned about unwavering family bonds. She'd stepped away, heart pounding, and listened as Crow laid it out. A codicil to the will hidden for decades, naming Hadley sole heir to the Harper holdings. Properties worth millions, from the flagship estate to undeveloped lots ripe for green initiatives Hadley had once sketched in her notebooks. "Why me?" she'd whispered into the phone, glancing at the casket. "Because Eleanor Harper knew what blood couldn't buy," Crow replied, his voice gravelly, like he'd smoked too many Cubans on Clematis Street. "Loyalty. Vision. And she saw it in you, not the vultures circling her bed." By the time Hadley pulled into her driveway, the sun was dipping low, painting her hibiscus hedge in fire. She kicked off her shoes and collapsed onto the wicker sofa on her porch, the one she'd painted teal last summer. Her phone buzzed again. Not Crow, but a text from her best friend, Mia. "You okay?" Victor looked like he swallowed a lemon. "Call me." Mia knew everything. The coming out at 17 that had fractured Thanksgivings, the string of quiet girlfriends who'd never quite fit the Harper mold, the way Gran had slipped her extra slices of key lime pie at reunions, a silent "I see you." But this was a grenade in a goldfish bowl. Hadley scrolled to Crow's number, unlisted like he'd vanished into the ether. She hit call. It rang twice. "Miss Harper. I expected you'd reach out sooner." "Who the hell are you?" she demanded, her southern drawl sharpening like a knife edge. West Palm had softened her edges over the years, but grief honed them back. "Eleanor's attorney. Discreet one." She didn't trust the firm handling her public affairs. "Too many leaks to your uncle's ear." "Victor." Of course. The man who'd once jokingly suggested Hadley see a therapist after she brought home her first college girlfriend. Family first, sweetheart. Blood over. Whims. Crow continued unfazed. "The reading's tomorrow, 10 a.m., my office on Flagler Drive. Come alone. And Hadley? Prepare for war. Your family won't let go easy." She hung up, the receiver warm in her palm. Va. In West Palm Beach, where fortunes were won over brunch at Café Belud and lost in whispers at the Society of the Four Arts, war meant something subtler than bullets. Alliances shattered, reputations torched, hearts carved open like the intracoastal at high tide. That night, sleep evaded her. She paced her living room, walls lined with her designs. Vibrant murals of Florida mangroves reimagined as safe havens for endangered species. Commissions from eco-nonprofits that paid her rent but not her soul. Gran had loved them, framing one in her study overlooking the pool. "You're building worlds, darling. Don't let them box you in." By dawn, Hadley was dressed in linen slacks and a silk blouse the color of sea glass, her hair pulled into a low knot. She brewed Cuban coffee strong enough to wake the dead and drove downtown, the causeway bridging West Palm to Palm Beach like a promise of escape. Crow's office was tucked above a gallery on Flagler, all mahogany and secrets. He was older than she'd imagined, 70 if a day, with wire-rimmed glasses and a bow tie that screamed old Florida gentry. "Sit," he said, sliding a leather folder across the desk. Inside. The will, Grand's looping script amending it in 98, the year Hadley turned 1. To my granddaughter Hadley Rose Harper upon her 25th birthday or my passing, whichever comes last. The entirety of Harper Holdings in trust for stewardship, not exploitation. Stewardship. The word bloomed in her chest like jasmine. Gran hadn't left her a fortune to squander. She'd left a mantle. But why hide it? Hadley asked, tracing the seal. Your uncle's ambition. Eleanor caught him siphoning funds for a side deal. Condos on protected wetlands. She rewrote everything but kept it quiet to avoid a fight in her lifetime. Named me executor to reveal it post-mortem. Hadley's fingers trembled. And the family? They think Victor's getting it all. Crow nodded, eyes kind but steel-edged. He does, in the public version. This is the truth. But expect pushback. Blood's thick but greed's thicker. She left with copies in her bag. The weight of it all pressing like the noonday sun. Driving back, she detoured to Peanut Island, parking amid the tourists and tying her jeep to a palm. The ferry chugged nearby, but she walked the paths alone, gulls crying overhead. What would she do with it? Sell? No, Gran had hated Victor's developments, the way they choked the waterways. Hadley envisioned eco-reserves, community gardens, art spaces for queer kids like she'd been, hiding sketches under her bed. Her phone rang as she sat on the sand, unknown number. Heart-slamming, she answered. Hadley? Athena Voss. I'm an estate litigator with Voss and Klein. Your grandmother was a client off books like Mr. Crow. Athena. The name rolled like thunder over the breakers. How did you? Eleanor left instructions. If the codicil surfaced, I was to find you. Protect you. A pause, then a voice like aged bourbon, smooth with a hint of New York edge. I'm on my way to West Palm. Meet me at the Green Parrot tonight? We need to talk strategy. Hadley agreed, curiosity overriding caution. The Green Parrot. Dive bar on Clematis, all neon and locals nursing IPAs. Not her scene, but Gran had taken her there once, for conch fritters and stories of bootleggers. As sunset bled pink across the sky, Hadley wondered if this was the start of unraveling or weaving something new. Little did she know, Athena Voss would become the thread that held her together, or tore her apart. The Green Parrot hummed with the low thrum of Friday night escapees. Snowbirds shaking off northern chill, locals in faded tees dodging the week's regrets. Hadley pushed through the door at 7:45, the scent of fried plantains and spilled beer wrapping around her like an old quilt. She claimed a corner booth, the vinyl sticky under her elbows, and ordered a mojito to steady her nerves. Strategy. The word felt foreign, like armor she'd never worn. Athena arrived at 8 sharp, turning heads without trying. 30 with olive skin glowing under the bar's amber lights. Long dark waves cascading over one shoulder, and green eyes that pinned you like a specimen slide. She wore a crisp white blouse tucked into high-waisted trousers, a gold cuff bracelet catching the light, a lawyer who lunched at places with valet, but carried the poise of someone who'd fought for it. Hadley's breath caught. There was a quiet intensity to her, like the eye of a hurricane over the Gulf Stream. You must be Hadley, Athena said, sliding into the booth with a smile that softened the edges of her formality. Up close, faint laugh lines crinkled at her eyes, and a silver necklace dipped into the hollow of her throat. A St. Christopher medal, perhaps, for travelers lost at sea. And you're the guardian angel Gran hired in secret. Hadley managed a wry grin, pushing the menu her way. Conch salad? Or are you more of a kale crowd? Athena laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a squall. Conch definitely. Eleanor's stories about you painted a picture. Artist with a backbone, not afraid to color outside the lines. They ordered, and as the plates arrived, crisp fritters steaming, limes tart on the tongue, Athena dove in. She'd been Gran's shadow counsel for years, handling the quiet battles. Non-disclosure agreements for Victor's indiscretions, trust shielding assets from his grasp. She adored you, Athena said, spearing a shrimp, called you her rose in the briar patch. Said you had the heart to heal what the family's greed broke. Hadley sipped her drink, the mint sharp against the revelation. Heal? Half the time they act like I'm the break. The phase that never passed. Athena's gaze held steady. No pity, just understanding. I know the type. Grew up in a Brooklyn brownstone full of them. Expectations like wallpaper. Peeling but persistent. Came out at 16. Lost half my cousins overnight. She shrugged, but her fingers tightened on her fork. Eleanor saw parallels. That's why me. The conversation flowed like the Loxahatchee at flood stage, easy then urgent. Athena outlined the risks. Victor could contest the codicil, claim undue influence or fraud. Florida law favors the testator's intent, but family courts get messy. Emotions run high, especially when millions are at stake. Hadley traced the condensation on her glass. And if I win, what then? Im no mugul. I design logos for turtle rescues. Then you steward like she wanted. Turn the holdings into something lasting. Preserves, scholarships for artists, queer youth centers. I've seen your portfolio online. You've got vision. Heat crept up Hadley's neck. Not just from the rum, but the way Athena said it, like she believed it bone deep. They lingered over key lime pie, the bar emptying around them, until closing time nudged them out into the balmy night. Clematis Street pulsed with laughter from passers-by, fairy lights strung like stars over the sidewalks. Walk with me, Athena asked, tilting her head toward the bridge over the lagoon. Hadley nodded, their steps sinking as they strolled. The water below mirrored the city lights, black and silver. Why help? Beyond Grand's asked. Athena stopped, leaning on the railing. The breeze lifted her hair, and for a moment she looked vulnerable, the lawyer's mask slipping. Because I see myself in you. Fighting for a piece of something real in a world that wants you boxed. And because Eleanor's last words to me were, look after my girl. She's the future. Hadley's chest tightened, a pull like tide to shore. She reached out, brushing Athena's hand. Accidental electric. Thank you. For seeing me. Their fingers lingered, then parted. Athena's rental was parked nearby. She drove to the Hilton on the island, while Hadley headed home, the night air alive with possibility. But dawn brought the storm. Her phone exploded with texts. Victor. Family meeting at the house. 9 a.m. Don't be late. Mia, rumors flying. Your uncle's pissed, says you're stirring shit. And an email from Crow, litigation filed. Brace. The Harper estate loomed on South Ocean Boulevard like a relic from the Gilded Age. White stucco walls, red-tiled roof, banyans draping like veils over the driveway. Hadley arrived late, Jeep dwarfed by Victor's Bentley. Inside, the drawing room smelled of beeswax polish and resentment. Aunt Lydia perched on a settee, fanning herself with a program from the funeral. Cousins milling like sharks scenting blood. Victor at the mantel, scotch in hand despite the hour. Hadley, dear, he said, voice honey over gravel. Sit. We've heard. Disturbing things. She chose a wingback chair, spine straight. The will? Yeah. It's true. Gasps rippled. Lydia clutched her pearls. But Victor's run things for years. Your grandmother promised. Promises change, Hadley cut in, voice steady. Gran wanted stewardship, not strip malls on bird sanctuaries. Victor's face darkened, jowls quivering. Stewardship? From you? The girl who parades her lifestyle like it's a badge? This is a ploy, isn't it? Some liberal guilt trip Eleanor fell for in her dotage. The room iced over. Hadley's nails dug into her palms, but she held his gaze. My lifestyle's got nothing to do with it. Gran saw what you couldn't, heart over hustle. He slammed his glass down. We'll fight this. Every court in Palm Beach County. Blood's thicker than your delusions. As she left, the door slamming behind her, Hadley's phone buzzed. Athen. Heard about the ambush. Coffee. My office. Now. Voss and Klein occupied a glass-fronted suite overlooking the square. All modern lines and potted orchids. Athena met her in the lobby, concern etching her brow. You okay? Bruised, not broken. Hadley sank into a leather chair, recounting the venom. Athena paced fierce. Classic bully tactic, personal attacks to discredit. But we've got the docs ironclad. Eleanor's lucid, witnessed properly. They spent the afternoon plotting. Depositions, asset freezes, PR spins to the society pages. Athena's passion ignited something in Hadley, a spark long banked. By evening, as rain lashed the windows, Athena poured them herbal tea. "You're stronger than they know," like Eleanor said. Hadley met her eyes, the room shrinking to just them. "And you? What's your fight look like when the briefs are filed?" Athena smiled faintly. "Quiet ones. Late nights, wondering if justice ever feels like home." In that moment, hands brushed over the desk, intentional this time. The air charged, but Athena pulled back gently. "Focus first. Then, maybe." Hadley left with files and a flutter in her chest, the rain washing the streets clean. But as she drove home, Victor's words gnawed delusions. Was this inheritance a gift or a curse, dragging her family's shadows into her light? Little did she know the deepest cut was yet to come. Weeks blurred into a humid haze of depositions and discovery, West Palm's relentless sun mocking the chill in the courthouse air. Hadley threw herself into it, her bungalow transforming into a war room. Sketch pads abandoned for legal pads, coffee rings staining Grand's old ledgers. Athena was her anchor, their meetings stretching from professional to personal, lunches at Avocado Grill, where Athena confessed a failed engagement to a Wall Street type who'd called her ambition unfeminine. Walks on the lake trail, where Hadley shared sketches of reimagined Harper properties, solar-powered lofts for artists, butterfly gardens where wetlands once stood. "You're rewilding the empire," Athena teased one afternoon, their sandals kicking up sand on Peanut Island. The fairy horn blared distant, but here amid scrub pines it was just them. Hadley's hand found Athena's, lacing fingers like puzzle pieces. No words, just the press of palms, the world narrowing to salt spray and shared silence. Back in court, the battles sharpened. Victor's team unearthed evidence, doctored emails suggesting Grand's senility, affidavits from nurses claiming confusion. "She's grasping at straws," Athena whispered during a recess, her breath warm on Hadley's ear. "But it's dirty. Dirtier still." Leaks to the Palm Beach Post. A society column ran a blind item, "Heiress drama. Is the family black sheep cashing in on matriarch's regrets?" With barbs at Hadley's bohemian circles. Mia forwarded it with a string of fire emojis. "Fight fire with fire, babe. Spill." Hadley resisted, but the toll mounted. Sleepless nights, Grand's locket heavy around her neck. Dreams of the funeral where the stranger's call had cracked the facade. One evening, after a brutal cross-exam where Victor's lawyer grilled her on lifestyle choices impacting judgment, she broke at Athena's condo, a sleek Aryan city place, all whites and blues overlooking the fountain. "I can't," Hadley sobbed, curled on the sectional, Athena's arms a safe harbor. "They make it sound like loving women disqualifies me from loving this legacy." Athena stroked her hair, voice fierce. "It doesn't. It makes you human. And Eleanor's choice? That was love, seeing your capacity for it." She pulled back, cupping Hadley's face, thumbs brushing tears. Their eyes locked, the air thick with unspoken want. Slowly, Athena leaned in, lips meeting Hadley's in a kiss soft as sea foam. Tentative, then deepening, a promise amid the storm. They parted breathless, foreheads touching. It's real," Athena murmured. "But timing." Hadley nodded, heart full. After the gavel. Their romance bloomed in stolen moments. Dawn jogs along the dunes where Athena's laugh chased away doubts. Picnics at Mount's Botanical, sharing mango sticky rice and stories of first loves. Hadley's high school sweetheart under the bleachers, Athena's poetry club crush in a Brooklyn library. It felt like grace, this quiet building amid the fray. But betrayal lurked like Spanish moss in the oaks. It struck on a Tuesday mid-October, as leaves turned gold along Flagler. Hadley was in Athena's office reviewing exhibits, when her phone lit with a text from an unknown. "Ask your lawyer about the Voss-Harper connection. She's playing you." Attached. A grainy photo, Athena and Victor, arms linked at a gala 2 years back, champagne flutes raised. Her stomach plummeted. "Athena." Athena glanced up, smile fading at Hadley's pallor. "What is it?" "The photo. You and Victor. Gala." Athena's face drained. "God, Hadley, that was professional. He was a potential client. I turned him down flat. Eleanor's directive. But the leak, it's from his camp. How'd they get this now?" Doubt crept in, cold as the AC hum. Athena reached for her, but Hadley stepped back. "Talk to me. Please." Instead, Hadley fled. Jeep tires squealing toward the estate. She needed answers from the source. Victor answered the door in golf attire, smirking. To what do I owe? The photo. Athena and you. What's the game? He chuckled low and mean. Game? Darling, life's a board and she's a piece I almost had. Voss and Klein courted my business, big fish, you know. She backed off when Eleanor poached her, but loyalties linger. Loyalties? Hadley's voice cracked. You leaked it to poison this? Victor's eyes gleamed. Collateral. If she's whispering in your ear, better she whispers mine. But hey, family discount. Drop the suit. I'll cut you in. 10% say. Enough for your little artsy dreams. Rage boiled. You're the poison, uncle. Gran saw it, why can't you? She stormed out, but the seed festered. That night, alone with a bottle of Pinot from Gran's cellar, Hadley scrolled old emails. Athena's firm billing Harper Holdings pre-codicil. Harmless. Or hidden strings. The next morning she confronted Athena at a neutral ground. Rapunzel's on South Dixie. Avocado toast cooling untouched. Were you ever his? Before Gran. Athena's hurt flashed raw. No. I took the case because Eleanor offered truth. Something Victor's world lacks. I stayed because of you. Prove it. Hadley's whisper was a plea. Athena slid a folder across. Her rejection letter to Victor, dated 22, citing ethical conflicts. I burned bridges for this. For her. For us. Hadley exhaled, the knot loosening. But trust once frayed unravels slow. I need time. Athena nodded, pain etching deeper. Take it. I'll wait. As Hadley left, the sky bruised purple, a squall brewing. The betrayal wasn't Athena's, but Victor's rot had tainted everything. And in the quiet aftermath, Hadley wondered if love could weather the flood. The trial loomed a fortnight away, and with it the climax of all they'd built or broken. November swept in on northeasterly winds, stripping palms bare and turning the intracoastal to slate. The trial convened in the Palm Beach County Courthouse, a modernist fortress of glass and justice, where society whispers met gavels. Hadley sat ramrod in the gallery's front row, Athena at counsel's table, poised predatory in her charcoal suit, every objection a blade parried. Victor took the stand first, the jury of locals, retirees and realtors, leaning in as he spun his tale, devoted son, steward of legacy, victim of a vulnerable widow's manipulation. He teared up recounting Gran's final days, glossing over the nurse's logs Athena entered as exhibits, clear-minded entries praising Hadley's visits, scorning Victor's endless pitches. Objection, speculation. His lawyer barked as Athena cross-examined. Sustained, the judge drawled, but the damage stuck like sand in a swimsuit. Hadley testified midweek, voice steady under the lights. Gran didn't rewrite on a whim. She saw my uncle's greed. Condos on turtle nesting grounds, profits over people. She trusted me to honor her love for this place. The beaches, the birds, the quiet wilds West Palm still holds. The defense pounced. Your personal life. Did it influence her? Emotional appeals, perhaps. Athena rose like a storm front. Objection, relevance? This is a will contest, not a witch hunt. The judge sustained, but the barb lingered, jury brows furrowing. Hadley caught Athena's eye across the room. Steel wrapped in solace and felt anchored. Off-court, their fragile peace mended in fragments. Athena cooked paella at her place one night, saffron-scented air thick with tentative touches. I almost lost you to his lies, she admitted, stirring clams into rice. Hadley wrapped arms around her waist from behind. You didn't. But it scared me, how deep the roots go. They ate on the balcony, city lights winking below, and talked futures. Hadley's eco-vision for the estate. Athena's dream of a firm focused on legacy preservation. Laughter came easier, kisses lingered longer. A romance ripening like citrus in the grove. But the undercurrent pulled. Anonymous calls to Hadley, breathy warnings. Drop it or the dike gets drowned in headlines. Mia traced one to a burner near Victor's club. He's cornered, babe. Dangerous. Climax crested on day 10. As closing arguments loomed, Athena uncovered the kill shot. Victor's embezzlement. Diverted funds to offshore shells, masked as investments. She sprang it in chambers, judge's face thunderous. Mr. Harper, you'll address this on the stand. Tomorrow. Victor cornered Hadley that night in the courthouse lot, rain sheeting down like judgment. She was dashing to her Jeep when his Bentley idled up, window rolling low. Clever girl. But blood, Hadley, it's all we have. She paused, wipers slashing rhythmically. Blood? You bled us dry. Gran's money, her trust. Yours for the taking until truth called bluff. His laugh was bitter. Truth? Yours is a fairy tale. Walk away with a check. Let me handle the empire. For family. For family, she echoed, venom sweet. The one you betrayed first. She drove off, but sleep fled. At 2 a.m. a crash jolted her awake. Front window shattered, brick through glass inscribed with freak air. Heart hammering, she called Athena, who arrived in sweats, face fierce. Pack a bag. You're staying with me. Curled in Athena's bed, safe amid down pillows, Hadley whispered confessions. I thought love meant no shadows. But yours. It fits mine. Athena kissed her temple. Shadows make the light brighter. Dawn brought the final day. Victor testified, crumbling under Athena's barrage. Ledgers exposed, emails damning. It was business, he sputtered, sweat beading on his brow. Expansion. Theft. Athena corrected, voice ice. The jury deliberated 3 hours. Verdict. Codicil upheld. Gasps echoed. Victor stormed out, Lydia trailing like a ghost. Hadley stood, Athena pulling her into a hug, fierce as the verdict. Tears mixing with relief. Outside, press swarmed, but they slipped away to the pier at Singer Island, waves crashing. Congratulations. We did it, Hadley breathed, locket glinting. Athena grinned. You did. I'm just the sword. Their kiss there, salt-laced and triumphant, sealed it. A bond forged in fire. But victory's aftertaste soured slow. Victor vanished. Yacht gone from the marina. Accounts frozen, but whispers of flight to the Caymans. The family fractured. Cousins reaching out sheepishly, Lydia sending a terse note. Forgive us? Hadley filed charges, but the hollow echoed. Worse. Athena's secret surfaced in the mail. A letter from Crow, postmarked late. Gran's final directive. If Victor fights dirty, Athena, use what you know. But protect Hadley at all costs. Even from me. Inside, a confession. Athena had known of Victor's schemes pre-trial, fed intel to Gran years back. But the cost? She'd buried a deeper truth. Her own brief affair with Victor, a youthful mistake in law school summers, ended when he proposed a merger of firms over hearts. Gran had hired her to atone, a redemption arc. Betrayal's second verse. Hadley confronted her that night, letter trembling. You knew. And us, was it pity?
Gran's ghost pupataring.
Athena's face shattered. No. God no. I fell for you, the sketches, the fire, the way you see beauty in broken things. The past. It's ash. I told Eleanor I'd burn it all for you. But you didn't tell me. Hadley's voice broke. Trust goes both ways. Rain hammered the windows as Athena reached. I was scared. Of losing this, of us. Hadley pulled away. So was I. But lies? That's Victor's game. She left, door clicking like a gavel. The empire was hers, but the heart? That trial raged on. December draped West Palm in tinsel and twinkle. Holiday lights strung along Worth Avenue like fragile truces. Hadley moved through it numb, the estate now hers. Keys heavy in her pocket, but the halls echoing empty. She hired contractors for the rewiring. Solar panels on the red tiles, community plots in the side yard where Victor once eyed pools. Her designs came alive. Murals on outbuildings depicting herons in flight, symbols of rising above. Mia crashed often, bearing wine and wisdom. You won the war, Had. Now win the peace. Peace felt elusive. Athena's texts piled unanswered. Coffee? One chance. Hadley deleted them, but dreams betrayed her. Green eyes in the courtroom, hands laced on the pier. Crow called mid-month, voice frail. Eleanor's ashes scattered yet? Not yet. Hadley stood in Gran's study, overlooking the now quiet pool, waiting for clear skies. Smart. Storms pass, but clarity? That's the gift. His words lingered as she drove to the pier that evening, the most dramatic dusk of her life replaying. That sunset confrontation, Athena's hand on her arm, the ocean's roar drowning doubt. She'd gone back alone since, sketching waves that crashed but reformed. Tonight Athena was there. Leaning on the rail, waves silver below, hair whipping in the wind. 30 now felt timeless, her green eyes shadowed but steady. Hadley approached, heart a drum. You came. Every night since. Athena turned vulnerability raw. I messed up. Hid the past because it shamed me. Not you but the girl I was chasing, approval in shadows. With you. It's light. Real. Hadley gripped the rail, knuckles white. Real hurts. You knew my family's knife edge. Betrayal's their love language. And you. Echoed it. Athena nodded, tears glistening. I thought protecting you meant shielding the ugly. But love's not a vault, it's open air. She stepped closer, voice breaking. Forgive me? Not for Gran or the win. For us. The wind howled, gulls wheeling like witnesses. Hadley searched her face. The laugh lines, the resolve, and saw not shadows, but the woman who'd fought beside her. Ido. But no more secrets. We're building something, together or not. Athena's hand found hers, tentative. Together. Always. They stood there as night fell, the lighthouse beam sweeping like forgiveness. No grand gestures, just the quiet human truth. Love bends but doesn't break if you let it heal. Christmas came soft. Hadley hosting at the estate. Mia and a few queer artists from her co-op filling the rooms with laughter and lanterns. Athena arrived last, bearing Gran's recipe book, dog-eared and spiced. For the kitchen murals, she said, eyes hopeful. Hadley pulled her into the garden, where fireflies danced early. Stay. Help me plant the future. Their kiss under the banyans was slow, seasoned romance reborn. Humanistic in its imperfection. Victor's trial loomed in federal court, but Hadley let it go, focusing on stewardship. Deeding lots to the Loggerhead Marine Life Center, funding scholarships for out kids in Palm Beach County. The Post ran a feature, Harper's Green Legacy, From Feud to Flourish, and for once the words fit. New Year's Eve they watched fireworks from the pier. Athena's head on Hadley's shoulder. To wild cards, Athena toasted with champagne. And the hands that play them, Hadley replied. In the end, the inheritance wasn't land or ledgers, it was permission. To love fiercely, to forgive deeply, to turn betrayal's blade into a bridge. West Palm's sun rose eternal, waves whispering renewal, and Hadley Harper, lesbian granddaughter, reluctant heir, walked into it whole. Gran would have smiled,